Good Friday morning. This is the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing. This is meteorologist Basil Numerzitsky. Taking a look at our fire potential impacts for today, we are concerned about much of Nevada as monsoonal moisture, at least bits of it, continues to drift further north and northwest across Nevada with very dry conditions at the surface. As we go into the weekend, that activity pivots over to the north and east and starts overspreading southern Idaho and into parts of western Utah as well. On the southern periphery, we expect enough moisture to produce mostly wet thunderstorms. Looking at precipitation over the past 24 hours on the left, mainly light amounts. The first shade of blue basically anywhere from a trace to less than a quarter inch. Anything that was relatively heavy stayed mainly confined to the Arizona Strip. On the right-hand side, we had lightning overspreading the southern third of Nevada and also a bit further north along the Sierra front with some ignitions and some significant fire activity there as well. In terms of our fires, latest ignitions in the past 24 hours, fires are in the red, existing fires past 24 hours in the yellow. Outlines with circles around them indicate large fires. Taking a look at observed precipitation, very dry in the past 7 days on the left, just about everywhere. We go to the past 30 days and you can see the significant precipitation that did occur across parts of southern Nevada, southern Utah, the Arizona Strip, and the mountains of central Idaho, but a lot of that moisture has since vanished, and we can see that as we look through here on the current fuel conditions on the ERC chart. You can see that most fuels are either in the dark red or the purple, which indicates anywhere from the 90th to above the 97th percentile, which will be near record levels. Somewhat moist down here in southern Utah, so we don't expect to see any significant fire activity there. But across Nevada, where most of our lightning activity will occur today, fuels are at the driest levels that we've seen them in quite a few years. So that is our main concern. If we look at the live fuel moisture in the sagebrush or manzanita, you can see here in Dog Valley, right on the California-Nevada border, that the manzanita fuel moisture has dropped down to record low levels and near seasonably dry levels elsewhere as we look through portions of southern Idaho and even into the Uinta Basin area as well. So our live fuels are lining up with the very dry critical dead fuel component which we have with the ERCs. Looking at water vapor satellite imagery and upper level map superimposed, you can see what it was the Four Corners high has shifted now into parts of southern Nevada. It's bringing the subtropical moisture with it in terms of this plume that you can see here. However, this edge of monsoonal moisture is disconnected from the deeper monsoonal moisture, which remains further to the south. So our concern is with this moisture here in Nevada, and with the clockwise flow around high pressure, eventually we'll see that moisture rotate into parts of Utah and parts of Idaho over the next 24 to 36 hours. So for today, here is our significant fire potential with high risk covering a good portion of southern Nevada, southern Utah, and extending into the Sierra front of western Nevada, also into parts of California as well. Elsewhere, fuels are very dry and just waiting for the lightning to arrive. Looking at weather factors on the left, outlined in green is where shower and thunderstorm activity is expected. And on the right-hand side are our winds, fairly light in most areas, a bit gusty out of the northwest coming out into southern portions of Idaho. And then looking forward tomorrow, we see that the monsoonal moisture in this dark shade to green is now pushing into Utah and eastern Nevada, thanks to that westerly wind component that we're seeing. And as a result, on the right-hand side, our high risk expands across not just the entire northern half of Nevada, but into a good portion of northern Utah and into southern Idaho as well, and into western Wyoming, where fuels are receptive. Fuels up in far northwestern portions of our area up into the mountains of central Idaho in the yellow, not quite ready for ignitions turning into large fires yet, but they're rapidly drying out. We'll keep an eye on them over the next couple of days. And then looking at the weather factors, on the left, areas in green is where shower and thunderstorm activity with lightning is expected. That area has expanded. On the right-hand side are our wind gusts. You can see the wind gusts starting to pick up, so any ignitions that occur In northern Nevada on Saturday, this darker green to orange shade indicates wind gusts of 20 to 30 miles per hour. These darker shades through here, these purplish shades, are indicative of localized downdrafts from thunderstorms, which is another thing we have to keep in mind. Those could briefly reach 40 or 50 miles per hour, usually in a smaller area and for a smaller time scale, but that's something we're going to have to watch. So as we go into Sunday, we see that drier air is starting to push into our northern and western areas. And with this low pressure dropping down, this other low off the Pacific Northwest coast, they'll start increasing the winds across our northern areas. Still lots of moisture and thunderstorm activity to the south. So on the right-hand side, our high risk of lightning continues into northern Utah and into Wyoming. However, we also have high risk for wind here in Idaho as those winds will increase, and that's significant because just leading up to that, we could be seeing some significant lightning across parts of southern Idaho. So that would add to ignitions turning into large fires should everything fall into place. And then looking on the left-hand side, where shower and thunderstorm activity expected in the green, and then wind gusts on the right-hand side. You can see still in the Sierra front, these orange shades through here indicate wind gusts of 25 to 30. Also notice up here in southern Idaho, this is where our high risk is as well, because these orange areas also 25 to 30 mile an hour gusts, especially following lightning, could be quite significant. Precipitation over the 3-day period from Friday morning to Monday morning. Light amounts across western Nevada, maybe light to moderate in this darker shade of green, could be a 1/10 to 1/4 inch in parts of eastern Nevada. Could start getting wetter across the southern Wasatch and the mountains down towards Cedar City, where you could see locally near 3/4 of an inch of rainfall. Going further down the road as we go into Monday, trough of low pressure drops in the Pacific Northwest. Still lingering moisture here in this darkest shade with some green spots and a more consolidated moisture shield with heavy subtropical rains with the core of the monsoon starting to approach southern Nevada and the Arizona Strip. You can see on the right-hand side, no high risk and actually enough moisture where we should see fuels moistening up considerably over our southern areas but staying dry to the north. Then as you go into Tuesday, you see that moisture, that deep moisture now pushing into our southern areas but staying dry and breezy up in our northern areas. And with a tightening of these height lines and this dry air punching in, we have high risk again for wind in southern Idaho on Tuesday. Going down the road into Wednesday and Thursday, we see that deeper monsoonal moisture continues to affect southern areas of Utah, but again, that'll keep their fuels moist. But further north, fuels are drying out quite rapidly. Precipitation accumulation over the entire 7-day period, we get quite wet into the Arizona Strip and into southern and eastern Utah. But however, wherever you see that first or second shade of green, those rains will be light and not significant enough to dampen any existing fire activity. The long-range outlook for the 8 to 14-day period, this takes us into the second week of August. Kind of an odd map. You do have some above normal temperatures through here. Cooler than normal in the Pacific Northwest indicates low pressure troughs moving on through. This cooler than normal indicates more clouds and monsoonal moisture. And on the right-hand side, that tells the story that the long-range models expect the monsoonal moisture to start expanding across parts of Utah, but missing much of Nevada and much of southern Idaho as well. So we'll keep that in mind. This concludes our briefing. Have a great day.